We were just having a conversation, Johnny and I, during the break about the fact, and I want to thank our regular viewers and the people in our chat right now and our patrons at patreon.com/HalSparks, people who have, Venmoed and contributed to the show, and they do super chats and that kind of stuff on the show, because that's what made my daily stream possible at all, and kept me afloat during a time when, as an actor, all production is shut down. As a stand-up comedian, all the clubs are closed. For the last year, I just transitioned into something where I could pay my mortgage, feed myself and my kid and my girl and her kid, and, keep the lights on, and do something productive where I feel like I'm giving, at the same time. Like, I started doing it for free and just doing it anyways. Whether it worked or not, this is what I was going to do. And I have... And by the way, looking in awe at a lot of the gamers and people who are on Twitch, if you go to fwank.com, FWANQ.com, that'll take you to the Twitch page where you can subscribe with Amazon Prime and it doesn't cost you a dime. I'm just saying. And I learned that little catchphrase from all these, gamer streamers who do the exact same thing, right? They have a career in this, and there's no, it used to be a little, oh, he's a YouTuber, or, then it became influencer, which just means Instagram, quite frankly. And, building a career in social media is, has been a tumultuous ride, and has grown into something kids do, to something adults do, to something that, big news corporations can't live without as a secondary aspect, to something that you can make your own home in it, whatever that level is. You can be what's effectively a middle-class streamer, which is effectively what I am right now. That's what I do. I get it done, right? I'm not by any means, one of these people who's building their own studio someplace, hiring a bunch of people to sit around and laugh at my jokes because they're paid to, like Steven Crowder and the rest of the crowd, that follows him, the Yup Yups. And a lot of those groups, I mean, it's a thing. That's a next level thing. And there's, and good on you. If you're able to do that, that's fine. But I got into it, on the sort of semi-ground level in terms of last year, where I was like, okay, I've been doing our show. I've been streaming it every Saturday for about a decade now. I started, the HalSparks radio program, Mega Worldwide, started as a Ustream show. Where back in the day when Ustream was one of the first video streaming things, and it had a chat, and I was able to just do this, and I was doing it every Saturday. So we just tipped it over and made it radio too, and I cleaned up my language a little bit as best I could, and then that became a thing. And I did it for free forever, just as another way to get the show out and to talk about the issues that were important to me. It was like an act of citizenship. So a decade of doing it for free, so that I could speak about the issues. People could take my word for what I was saying, with whatever grain of salt they wanted to. They could weigh it against predictions and things I'd said in the past, see if I knew what I was talking about, and it just would live on its own. And then last year, this all happens, and we all have to do something, because I'm not going to not have my kid have health insurance, right? So I started looking to the legit money made in entertainment that streamers were doing, and you look at the mechanics of it. What are they doing right? What am I willing to do? What am I not willing to do? What is the kind of stuff I'm willing to do that is within my ethical window? I'm not pouring a bunch of cinnamon down my gullet and having a bunch of Lab Rats fans all follow and choke to death.
Can't.
Stop it. And so, but at my level, I grew up in Peaksville, Kentucky. I went to high school in New Trier with Johnny. I drove to LA with all my crap in my car when I was 18 years old to start my career. I called the 90s the Sisyphus years, because none of it worked. I would just claw my way up and fall down the hill every day. And then finally I got a toehold with TalkSoup. I've been able to build a career, and because of that, I've been able to make this happen while this is going on, and I will continue to do the stuff that I'm doing, and I have faith in my career, and I'm fine. That said, Donald Trump Jr. is a third-generation slumlord who was born with $10 million in the bank. Ivanka Trump has, and Jared made, hundreds of millions of dollars while her dad was in office. They all inherited the wealth from their grandfather that their dad, by the way, micturated away, in the words of the true Big Lebowski, micturated away in the 90s, and had to borrow $56 million from his siblings, from their inheritance, just to keep the lights on. This was running money. This was not, there's a great opportunity that could make the company for the next years. We're tapped out right now, but if we get this 56 million, we put this on the line, this is going to be the casino that makes it. This is going to be, Trump Stakes is really going to take off. It wasn't that. It was just, how do you keep the lights on? And now, you know, Ivanka and Jared are just off spending their money, being rich people. They have effectively, because they're not involved in the Trump organization right now, they might run into some tax issues later because she was, you know, allegedly hired as a consultant while also being a staffer at the Trump org. So they were doing this kind of tax dodge, shuffling money with her, that she may end up being fine, but it's money she's got, money they made, money that her dad carved out these trademarks for her and the other products. She's basically being, you know, the Trump version of the Kardashian. And the idea is that there's a split in that family. That Ivanka thinks that the Trump name is going away, and Donald Trump Jr. is banking on it being a brand. And so Ivanka and Jared are kind of going off in their own corner with their own investments and their own stuff. And you watch, it'll, whatever her line is going to be called, it's going to be called Ivanka. It's not going to be called Trump anything. And whereas Don Jr. and Eric, everything will be stamped with Trump left and right, and that's what they're doing.
Trump.
Exactly. Yeah. So right now, Don Jr. is on a site called Rumble, and Rumble's one of the fallbacks that when people got kicked off of YouTube for anti-vax stuff, or, you know, calling the election a lie, or, you know, and again, you didn't get kicked off of YouTube for saying that the election was there was fraud or blah blah blah. You got kicked off for saying this person, this executive, basically doxing a human being with your own accusations that you had no basis for. That this woman in Fulton County, this black woman who ran these things, is a criminal and is like drawing attention to this individual in a way that is endangering their lives and is completely based on, you know, BS that you're selling to your fans to try and boost your dad because you live off the brand, right? And so people got booted for that stuff. Dan Bongino, who is jockeying to become the next Rush Limbaugh. Bongino, who is looking for kitty.
That had a real Cornholio vibe.
It definitely did. Bongino. So he bounced over to Rumble, and he's the #1 thing on Rumble under cat videos. And so Don Jr. saw that money, saw that possibility, saw that cash sitting there on the table, and said, I want to get me some of this sweet internet cash. Maybe I can build my own thing as Don Jr., as the brand, right? Don Jr. was the brand. And he's got a little, in gold, up in the corner of his videos, Don Jr. is a little thing, right? Now, by the way, it says Donald Trump Jr., and it's in all gold, and it's a big thing on the graphics because it's not working. He needs Trump as the brand, or people don't care. So he's ran back to the daddy brand already in this. But he's went on a site like Rumble, like, you know, unlike YouTube, where we have things like super chats. And by the way, thank you guys for those. Every single one's appreciated. No job is too big, no fee is too big, as the Ghostbusters would say. That, you know, his videos, they're kind of like the AdSense on a YouTube video. When someone rumbles your video, they think it needs to go to the top. It's kind of a Redditing kind of a thing, right? That more people like it or give it a rumble, which is directly from them. It boosts it up in this line of top chart things, and you get money from it. Well, Don Jr.'s rumbles that I know of, any of his videos have never passed the $1 mark. And all of them are toilet paper vids, in that they go away the next day. These are not evergreens. These are not like, you've been tying your shoelaces all wrong. Check out this new technique. And you're like, oh my God. And it gets passed around forever, like on Facebook, and people end up watching the shoe tying video forever from Brightside or some nonsense like that prints these kind of videos, and they have like 10 million views. E-Bum's
world.
Totally. So I've never seen him, I don't think I've ever seen him crest 61 cents, but it's definitely never gone over $1. And he is reading these talking points from somebody he's getting them from, Heritage Foundation, the Ben Shapiro Show, or he's just stealing them from other shows. Like he's watching a Steven Crowder video, making his own notes, and basically saying the same thing, but from his own mouth, which seems par for the course for the Trumps. That makes total sense. You know what I mean? It's just a copy of a copy of a copy. It's it's third generation Polaroid, and that's on a mimeograph that's been shot on a flip phone from 10 feet away. That's where they are right now. And I'm telling you, when considering where what the QAnons believe, or believed anyways, about the power of the Trump family, and not only his status as a leader fighting the cabal and blah, 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 but that his children are sort of an extension of his perfection. For them to be there that fast and having to scrap from the bottom, like somebody like me, who was definitely not born a millionaire by any stretch of the imagination, born in debt, arguably, and really, like, welcome to the world. You owe about $30,000, and you have no job for a long time. In that, that this guy had that many resources, and is still, it is now making 61-cent Rumble videos. Because he's gotta, is stunning. And so if you think the Qs are going to be there for the next whoever wants the Trump mantle, and it's going to be enough for them, you're wrong. And if you think they're going to be anybody that Mitch McConnell wants to win, that the establishment Republicans and the vast majority of Republican voters want to win, they're going to be against that person. Yeah. It's a mess. We got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to take some calls. 773-763-9278 is the number. We'll be back right after this.